Well guys, this is what it's come to. We're rock climbing now. And this is probably easily the hardest I've ever worked for a trout. Welcome to North Georgia. So this is me and Andrew's first time ever attempting to fish North Georgia. Never been here before in our life. Working on new water that we've never touched before. We just set up camp, which was pretty easy. Didn't have any real issues, except the fact that the ground's like impossible. Like it's hard, it's like graveled. So we had to move it actually off the actual campsite. Put the tent like just off to the side so we could actually anchor the tent, because it's kind of windy. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it's kind of windy. So anyway, we just got here. We woke up at 2 a.m. just to get here early enough so that we can fish the afternoon, because a front just pushed through. So we're actually going to be fishing post frontal, and it's going to be cold. We actually have the entire the entire campground is empty right now because it's going to be like 20 degrees tonight, 25 degrees tonight. So camping's probably going to be miserable. I don't know. We'll see. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our sleeping bags in here and get kind of prepared, because we're gonna go run up the river that is actually right here in the background. I'll walk over there and show that to you guys here in a second. And we're gonna walk like a mile or so up this river and see if we can't catch some trout. Hopefully, or we're fingers crossed that it's wild browns. That's what should be here. But we've never fished it, as I said, so we have absolutely no idea. Real quick, I looked at my analytics the other day, and like 90% of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed. So what that means is you guys should totally hit the subscribe button. It's free to you, and it notifies you when I post videos so that you don't miss things like this little Georgia series we're gonna do. We've got some wild trout. We're gonna be fishing wild trout for this weekend. We're gonna come back another weekend and fish some private water just to get the whole Georgia experience. And then later on, maybe in a month, we're gonna try to make a trip up here and maybe fish for some big wild trout, maybe on one of the major rivers. So just to make sure you guys don't miss that, hit the subscribe button. I can't talk. And yeah, let's get into this video. Let's get fishing. We got to grab our rods. That should be it. We should be good to go. Maybe put on an extra jacket because it's gonna get really cold here as the sun starts to drop. Oh my gosh, guys, it took quite literally a century. My heart's racing. Cast it up, you guys saw it right in that rock. And I saw a fish follow it and I was like, no way, there's actually a fish here. Actually, legitimately a fish here. And it's actually not a wild brown, it's a stalker, it looks like. Stock brookie, maybe? Honestly, it's a real nice fish. All right, so I was literally grabbing the camera out of the bag and Andrew came around the corner, so I just let him come up here so he could film it real quick. This is a stock trout. We've walked at least almost 2 miles probably up here, and looking for wild trout. I've seen one wild brown trout. Andrew saw one that he thinks was a wild brown trout. Do you see him? It was a trout, a brown trout?
I would guess.
And then this thing came out and it was like real slow, sluggish. I stopped the streamer, came out, smashed it. You guys saw it. I'm just gonna kind of get a close up in the net because it's really not that impressive of a fish. I'm just gonna release this fish because we're so far away. There's no point in keeping it. I just don't want to deal with it. So we're gonna release the fish and then we're gonna fish for a little bit longer. It's almost 4:15, so we're only gonna have like 30 minutes before we're gonna have to turn around because it's gonna take us forever to get out. Andrew shook his head no, but I'm gonna get this guy released and we'll keep fishing. Maybe catch an actual wild trout. All right, so we fished up here. It's starting to get dark now for real. 5 o'clock. We saw there's one stretch in here that we moved like a bunch of fish, and I know for a fact at least one of them was a wild brown. Oh! So I think what we're gonna do is we are gonna come in here kind of early-ish in the morning. It's gonna be like 20 degrees, so it won't be ideal. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the Euro nymph rod and nymph some of these pockets where we've seen these fish, where we moved them tonight. So we know there's fish in there. We'll nymph through, try to catch a few, maybe catch a wild brown for you guys. And then if that fails, we will switch creeks and try something new tomorrow afternoon, evening. So we'll see how it goes. So it's not looking too good for us, to be honest. I think our wild brown trout hunt for right now is gonna come to an end. It was supposed to get sunny today, at least. It wasn't supposed to be really warm, but at least get sunny. As it sits right now, it's probably 30-ish degrees. We have snow flurries, and there are honestly no fish biting. The reason we know there's no fish biting is because we just fished through the stretch that we fished yesterday and moved like probably half a dozen fish, and we know they're still there because we spooked one of them and didn't even get a single follow on the streamer, and Andrew was throwing Euro nymphs and didn't catch a single thing. So this is honestly what you guys usually don't see. When we have days like this or have moments like this in the winter, which happens quite often, we usually just scrap it and leave. But we have one more kind of idea slash ace up our sleeve, is that first of all, we're in Georgia, so we're not gonna not fish. So we're gonna have to figure out a backup plan, which is gonna be to hit some little tributaries and hopefully catch some wild rainbow trout. Now, it's still not gonna be great, but the good thing about really small water is it's impossible for the fish to not see your fly. Like, you can just drift it right past them. So usually you can get at least one or two to bite. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna backpack back out of here, then 2 miles, and reset, probably set up camp, and because we had to move camp today, we're gonna set up camp in a different spot and then go see if we can find some wild rainbows. At least that's the plan. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll catch some more fish for you guys, and this isn't just a fail video. All right, so guys, we just were walking up this creek that's down there somewhere, and we hit a waterfall that you can probably hear but you can't really see right there, and it's literally just cliffs on either side of it. You can't get up it. The pool beneath the waterfall is probably a 6-foot deep plunge pool, and we've been skunked. I mean, we have literally not even seen a fish, and there's supposedly wild rainbows in here, but I think the population isn't that high in this particular creek, and it's the only one that we can have access to with the amount of time we had left to fish tonight, and it's gorgeous water. But yeah, this creek was a bust, and what we're gonna do is we've got a bushwhack up through here without a trail in this rhododendron slash laurel thicket, and hopefully make it out to tell the story. All right, so made it up to the road. Yeah, that creek absolutely kicked our butt. Supposed to have rainbows. I didn't see a single fish, and the water's like so overly clear that, I mean, if they were sitting out feeding, we probably could have seen them. We didn't. So that just tells me that this day was trash compared, or with also taking into account the fact that we fished this morning in a spot that we know had fish and didn't see any. And then we came here to this smaller creek, didn't see anything. So I think it's just, A, I don't know what the population of trout is in this creek anyway. B, never been to it. C, bad day of fishing, bad day to fish. And I think it's like 33, 34 degrees now, which is the high, which for Georgia, the high is probably what, this time of the year, normally it's like 40 to 50. So we're solid like 10 degrees colder than normal. We had snow flurries off and on all day. So, I mean, I don't like making excuses, but it's pretty trash day to fish. Anyway, we're doing a North Georgia Trout series, and good or bad, we're gonna show it. Tomorrow, we're meeting a buddy of mine that I've talked to about fishing up in this area for the past, year, and just hasn't really worked out. He's gonna meet us here, and we're gonna fish up a new creek tomorrow, and hopefully actually catch some trout. Anyway, did not pick a great time to come to Georgia, honestly. Alright guys, so I hope you guys can hear me all right, but today we have backpacked in probably a mile or so. We came down into this big canyon. I'm with a buddy, his name is Dylan. He's a local, he's kind of fished some of these areas before, so it's good because he's going to be patient. He's actually going to fish, whereas me and Andrew are depressed from being skunked yesterday. We explored some new waters, some small creeks yesterday, and didn't do too hot. But today we're actually getting really deep into some, I think this is national forest. We're getting really deep in here. Not many people are gonna walk this far in unless you're pretty serious about fishing. So our plan is to get in here, catch some wild rainbows, maybe some wild browns, and actually show you guys what North Georgia has to offer. We got down here, and I actually think we took the wrong trail, but there's this super deep canyon that comes up, pops up, and yeah, we're gonna see if we can't catch something in here. All right guys, so no fish yet, but this is legitimately some of the most treacherous. I mean, that right here, that's probably spooking the only good fish of the day right there, right? Yeah, I mean, this right here is probably 4 or 5 feet deep. We got this huge hole up here that we may not even be able to fish. We gotta find a way to get around this hole. So we're thinking we're gonna go up in this, somewhere up in here. This is like ridiculous. I don't know how people actually fish this. Unless we took the wrong trail, which is totally possible. All right guys, we got a river crossing here that is not shallow. Can't really see very well. Shit. Here it goes, boys. Woo! My bag's wet. Good thing it's waterproof. Oh man, that was a little sketchy there, boys. That was a little sketchy. I mean, if I fall down there, whew, it'll be an interesting one. Creek crossing success. We survived. That's what it looked like, guys. Pretty water. But man, we gotta catch a fish for this much work. All right, so shocker, the guy that actually lives in Georgia actually caught a trout. We've been skunked for a day, came up this creek, did a sketchy creek crossing, and he caught one.
Actually, that's a stalker.
Here, I'll get right here.
Look at it.
It did look kind of pale to me.
How did it?
How? It's kind of small to be a stalker.
Oh, look at that fin. All right, what do we
just hold it up real quick, just a little bit so I can get a shot of the fish. I'm surprised we even caught one.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool to catch one, honestly. Yeah, you can go ahead and let it go. There he goes. All right, so first fish in like a day. Dylan caught it on a little like woolly bugger type streamer that he tied. He gave me one, and I just kind of was walking up to the head of the hole and didn't see anything. But then he finally caught one back here. He lost like what, 2 of them? Lost 2 and 2 flies before he caught that one. But we're on the board. That's the first fish like we've seen in a long time. So hopefully Andrew can catch one because he hasn't even caught a fish in Georgia yet. And then maybe I'll get on one. We'll fish this hole for a little bit longer, then we'll keep heading up the creek. Should only get better, so. This is not easy, boys. We literally just had to use a twig to rock climb up that because there's a plunge pool down here that's about 100 feet deep. And we're still going. And this is probably easily the hardest I've ever worked for a trout in my life. And I've yet to even see one other than the one that Dylan caught, which we're pretty sure was even a stalker. I mean, what in the heck is even going on? Well guys, this is what it's come to. We're rock climbing now. I have to somehow walk on this near vertical rock across there to that. Andrew, take this. We had to leap from a rock down there in the middle of that pool onto that, rock crawl across this, and now I'm standing here. Andrew just went straight up that edge, holding that tree. Now he's gonna grab my rod. And I might need your help too, I don't know. I wish I didn't have like camera gear. If I didn't have camera gear and I was about 5 years younger, I would care a whole lot less about this type of stuff. I don't like this at all. Just don't fall when you... Okay, hold on, wait.
Make sure it's on and then grab on your... Grab on this like that.
Do you want me to just... You're gonna swing me to that rock?
I might just leap, okay? Leap.
3, 2, 1. Oh! This is just not fun. I'm not enjoying this. If I catch a fish, this is gonna be... I don't care how many likes or how many views this gets. This is the most difficult video I've ever made in my life. I mean, this is just so unbelievably deep, right? What? Is it in the middle there?
I don't know, like I think I just set the hook too early. I don't think it ate it all the way. But I felt it. Definitely a fish. Nice.
You got one? Is it a bow? Woo-wee. Hold on, I'm coming.
And we got a wild rainbow.
Let's go, dude. I don't even care who catches the fish at this point. Like someone just catch one, holy cow. Oh, I'm falling. Try not to drown on the way over. Woo! About did. I'm gonna lay this rod down and grab the camera real quick. All right, guys. So first little wild bow. The last one we think was stocked. This one's definitely not stocked. Hello. Just a pretty fish. Dylan's using this little streamer, and it's more like, it's kind of like a woolly bugger type thing. I don't know if you want to explain a little bit. You can.
Yeah. So.
Here, you can go ahead and hold it or release the fish or whatever you want.
Yeah, let's
throw it off. Beautiful little wild bow though.
Great looking fish.
Yeah. Such a pretty fish. There he goes. All right, if you want to exchange the streamer real quick, just to, it's clearly working, and what I'm throwing is not.
Yeah. I'll show you guys a dry one. I don't have one in this color anymore. You can see how it kind of lays out wet like that. This one is olive, and there's some brown marabou on that, but it's basically...
I can show in the box.
Yeah. It's basically this, except that it's just olive and marabou. I mean olive and brown marabou. So this one is a little black and purple. some chenille in the middle, little legs, little flash.
And just as a little side point, Andrew, who's right down there, he's Euro nymphing with pretty popular flies and not catching anything. And Dylan has moved multiple fish.
Yeah.
And he just caught another one. And I'm throwing a little streamer. It's not the same streamer.
I might try this one soon. Get it better.
I mean, I might even tie that one on. Is that one really heavy?
Yep, it's got tungsten, lead wraps. You know those little ones are in here, so
yeah,
might as well give it a go.
Alright, so we're just trying to get out of here. The rivers, creeks, whatever down there. I'm just tired to talk. We got a rope. I don't think the video is going to do justice to how vertical this mountain is, but
I mean, I'm going like...
I mean, you might as well be on your hands and knees. I never shot an outro for this video out of pure exhaustion. I think it took us around 2 hours to hike out, and most of that was straight up a mountain. All in all, we learned a lot about fishing in North Georgia on this weekend trip, and we will be back.